Every morning, Mrs. Gable opened her curtains and smiled at the window box. It was small, just an old wooden box painted white, attached to the ledge of her second-floor apartment. But inside, bright red geraniums and soft purple petunias bloomed together in perfect harmony. Mrs. Gable had lived in this apartment for 42 years. Her husband had built the window box for her when they first moved in. He was gone now, but every spring, she planted the same flowers. Every morning, she watered them carefully. Every evening, she talked to them softly as if they were old friends. The street below was gray. Gray buildings, gray pavement, gray sky more often than not. People walked quickly with their heads down, going to work, going home, going nowhere. They did not look up. They did not see the window box. But some did. There was a young woman named Lena who lived across the street. Every morning, she woke up feeling tired. She worked 2 jobs. She was saving money for school. Her world was small and gray too. But when she opened her own curtains, the first thing she saw was Mrs. Gable's window box. Those bright red flowers against the dull brick wall. They made her breathe a little deeper. They made her think, maybe today will be okay. Lena had never spoken to Mrs. Gable. She did not even know her name. But she began to depend on those flowers. On days when she felt like giving up, she looked at the window box and remembered that something beautiful could grow anywhere, even in a gray city. Down the street, there was a boy named Samir. He was 10 years old. His family had moved here from a faraway country, and everything felt strange. The language was hard. The children at school did not always understand him. He missed the colors of his old home, the bright clothes, the painted houses, the green trees. One morning, walking to school, he looked up. He saw the window box. Red and purple, bright and alive. He stopped walking. He stared. His mother tugged his hand. "Come on, we will be late." But Samir kept looking. That night, he drew a picture. Red flowers in a white box. He showed it to his mother. She kissed his head and said, "Beautiful." Samir did not know who lived behind those flowers. But every morning after that, he looked for them. They were like a small hello from someone he did not know, a friend he had never met. There was an old man named Mr. Henderson. He lived alone in a small apartment 2 buildings down. His wife had died 3 years ago. His children lived far away. He did not leave his home much anymore. The world outside felt too big, too fast, too loud. But his window faced the street. Every morning, he made his tea and sat in his chair. He watched the world go by. And every morning, his eyes found Mrs. Gable's window box. The flowers did not judge him. They did not ask him questions. They simply bloomed, day after day. They reminded him that life continued, that beauty still existed, that he was not completely alone. He started leaving his apartment more. First, just to get the newspaper. Then to buy bread. Then to walk around the block. Sometimes, he would stop and look up at the window box. He wondered about the person who cared for it. He thought maybe he should say thank you. But he never did. Then came the storm. It was a summer afternoon, and the sky turned dark quickly. The wind picked up. Rain began to fall, heavy and hard. Mrs. Gable was at the doctor that day. She had not been feeling well. "Nothing serious," the doctor said. "Just rest, take your medicine, you will be fine." But when she came home, her heart sank. The window box lay on the pavement below, broken into pieces. The flowers scattered everywhere, crushed by the rain and the fall. The whitewood was cracked, the red geraniums ruined, the purple petunias lost. Mrs. Gable stood at her window, looking down. She did not cry. She just stood there, very still, for a long time. Then she closed the curtains and went to bed. The next morning, Lena opened her curtains. She looked across the street. Something was missing. It took her a moment to understand. The window box was gone. The flowers were gone. The spot on the gray wall looked empty, like a hole in the world. Lena felt sad. More sad than she expected. She realized how much those flowers had meant to her. She had never told anyone. She had never thanked whoever grew them. Now it was too late. Samir walked to school with his mother. He looked up. Nothing there. He stopped. His mother tugged his hand. "Come on." But Samir pulled away. He stood on the sidewalk, staring at the empty space. His mother asked, "What is wrong?" Samir pointed. "The flowers," he said quietly. "They are gone." Mr. Henderson made his tea and sat in his chair. He looked out the window. The flowers were not there. He looked again. Still not there. He felt something break inside him, something small but important. Those flowers had been his connection to the world. Now that connection was lost. That afternoon, Lena did something she had never done before. She walked across the street and knocked on the door of the building where the flowers had been. She looked at the names on the mailboxes. Apartment 2B. Gable. She went upstairs. She knocked on the door. Mrs. Gable opened it slowly. Her eyes were tired. Her face looked older than before. "Yes?" she asked. Lena felt nervous. She did not know what to say. "I live across the street," she began. "I just wanted to say, I saw your flowers every morning. They made me happy. They made my days better. I am sorry they're gone." Mrs. Gable looked at her. For a moment, she said nothing. Then her eyes filled with tears. "You saw them?" she whispered. "Every morning," Lena said. They were like a small gift to the whole street. That evening, someone else knocked on Mrs. Gable's door. It was a little boy with his mother. Samir held a crumpled piece of paper. He gave it to Mrs. Gable. "For you," he said. She unfolded it. It was a drawing. A white box with red and purple flowers. A bright sun in the sky. A small figure in the window waving. Mrs. Gable could not speak. She just put her hand on her heart. The next morning, Mr. Henderson climbed the stairs to apartment 2B. It was the first time he had climbed stairs in months. He knocked. When Mrs. Gable opened the door, he said, "My name is Henderson. I live down the street. I watched your flowers every day. They reminded me that there is still good in the world. I wanted you to know." Mrs. Gable invited him in for tea. Word spread. More people came. The young man who delivered mail, who always smiled when he passed the window. The mother who pushed her baby in a stroller, who pointed at the flowers every morning. The teenager who walked to school alone, who looked up when he felt sad. They came with small things. A pot of soil. A packet of seeds. A wooden box, painted white, built by Mr. Henderson's own hands. He had not built anything since his wife died. They came with their stories. How the flowers had helped them. How they had needed that small beauty without even knowing it. How they realized now, too late, that they should have said something sooner. Mrs. Gable listened to them all. She made tea. She held Samir's drawing in her hands. She looked at the new window box, waiting to be planted. The next weekend, they all gathered on the street below. Mrs. Gable, Lena, Samir and his mother, Mr. Henderson, and others too. They filled the new window box with fresh soil. They planted new seeds. Red geraniums, purple petunias, and some yellow marigolds too, because Samir said yellow would look nice. Mr. Henderson lifted the box carefully. He passed it to Lena. She passed it to the mailman. They passed it up, hand to hand, until it reached Mrs. Gable at her window. She placed it on the ledge and smiled down at all of them. The flowers bloomed again. But something else bloomed too. A small community. People who had lived on the same street for years but never spoken. Now they nodded hello. They stopped to talk. They shared tea. They looked out for each other. Lena started bringing Mrs. Gable groceries on her way home. Samir visited after school to help water the flowers. Mr. Henderson came by every morning for tea. They talked about everything and nothing. They became friends. And every morning, when people opened their curtains, they saw the window box. Bright red, soft purple, happy yellow. A small thing, really. Just some flowers in a box. But it reminded them that beauty matters. That small kindnesses matter. That even in a gray world, we can grow something colorful together. Mrs. Gable lived 3 more years. When she passed away, the whole street came to her funeral. They talked about her flowers. They talked about her quiet kindness. They talked about how one person, doing one small thing every day, had changed so many lives without ever knowing it. Lena took over the window box. She had finished school, gotten a better job, found her own apartment across town. But every weekend, she came back to water the flowers. She brought Samir with her, now a teenager who still drew pictures. She brought Mr. Henderson, who was older but still climbed the stairs with help. The window box continued to bloom, and the street continued to be a little less gray. Sometimes, when you look out your window, you might see a small patch of color. A flower box, a garden, a tree. You might think it is nothing, but remember this story. Remember that what we do, even the smallest thing, can touch people we will never meet, can give hope to someone who needs it, can connect a whole community, one flower at a time. So plant something if you can. Or just look up. Notice the beauty around you. Tell someone their flowers made you smile. You never know how much it might mean. Because in the end, it is not the big things that hold us together. It is the small things. The morning ritual. The shared view. The window box flowers, blooming quietly, bringing color to a gray world. And that is enough.